Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with a video on the future of the Flash in the DCU, which I wasn't expecting to talk about, but we're here to talk about it. So with the Flash film coming out and unfortunately not doing well and looking like it will be a box office disappointment as a whole, minds are now shooting forward or maybe running forwards or running ahead to the next Flash-centric, that's probably the best word to use, Flash-centric project in the DC live action universe is of course being under the guidance of James Gunn. Now it does seem that the performance of the Flash movie was sort of going to indicate what version of the character, as in actor as well as canon and stuff, that they're going to use going forward. If the movie went well, hey Ezra Miller, you might be continuing and there'll be a sequel to that, but if it doesn't go well, which is the case, well, we're going to be rebooting and stuff like that. And that was sort of just based off all the interviews. Like that's what it seemed like. Now of course that could have just been so people went and saw it so they didn't feel like it was like a nothing burger and didn't matter what, going forward after it, but that's what was at least said. But yeah, as I said, based off the results, it looks like we'll be getting a new Flash, both in regards to canon as well as actor coming our way. But when that happens is the big question, like, is it 2 years from now? Is it 10 years from now? But one, rumored project in the works from trustworthy sources does suggest we won't be waiting a ridiculous amount of time for something flashy to be coming our way in the near future. Though it might not be the traditional next step to most people. But the Flash is the fourth biggest hero in the DC, universe. Some would argue it's the third. I would say it's probably just the fourth, to be fair. And that's, behind your Batman, your Superman, and your Wonder Woman. So it's not a shock that James Gunn will be wanting to use, the Flash as well to play in going forward into his DC universe. So this information that has come up, as I said, from verified sources is coming from DCEU Leaks, so a trusted source associated with them has pushed this forward. And this information is that a Rogues project, or to be 100% accurate, a project called The Rogues, is in development. Now, it is being reported that it will be set in the main DC universe or DCU timeline, so alongside your Superman Legacy, your Batman, the Brave and the Bold, and other projects like that. But here is the cool thing. It will apparently be a crime or heist series. Now, emphasis on series. So this will be a TV show for HBO Max, or, Max, or who knows what that streaming service will be called, by the time this potentially comes out. Now, it is said it will most likely be in Chapter 2 of James Gunn's storytelling in this universe, but we know that James Gunn only released, just shy of half of his first chapter back in February or March. I think it was like 10? No, I think it was like 12 projects or something. 12 projects, I think, something like that. So we should be getting that much and maybe one or two more, you would think, when he announces the next batch or the second half of that first chapter. Of course, this first chapter being called Gods and Monsters. So while this could be safe for Chapter 2, which wouldn't be coming our way until like 5 or 6 years or something like that from now, it could be in that first chapter towards the end. So while that is all the information that was given to us regarding this, what are my thoughts and theories and predictions in regards to not only the story that could be in here, but also what characters from the Rogues that could be used? Because I don't think they'd use all of them. They'd use a select few and they'd want to make a bit of a good combination. So there's not similar characters, but like a fun group to be around. Now, the first thing I'd love for this show to do, the first thing I'd love is to make the Flash the villain of this series. Now, I'm not saying make the Flash an actual villain, but in the eyes of the Rogues, he is the villain. He is the one that they are trying to avoid, trying to run from, trying to evade so they can achieve their mission. So the Flash can be presented in a very horrific way, if you want to put it, in the eyes of the Rogues, because this just dude that can just go vroom, 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 just quickly go and do things, and they really are sort of powerless against him. So maybe you could start with maybe 6, 7, maybe 8 Rogues, but a few get taken throughout the series and get taken to Iron Heights due to the Flash throughout the series. Almost like a last man standing. And we get to the point where maybe right towards the end of the series, there's only 2, maybe you could even argue 1 Rogue trying to complete this heist. So instead of this a demon or something, or this big monster hunting down and killing the Rogues, it's just the Flash running in, grabbing them and taking them to Iron Heights. I think that'd be pretty fun. And it'd give you this, it'd be like a thriller and be very suspenseful and you weren't too sure exactly what was going to be happening. I think that'd be really, really cool. And you could even make a joke where in the next Flash film, or just even something like an end credits in the finale of this series, where we see the Flash and it sort of shows us the events from his perspective, where it was just a no biggie for him. It was just in little short parts. So he's just going around doing all these things around this city, helping an old lady cross the street, saving a cat from a tree, stopping a car from hitting something or whatever it is. And then just quickly takes down one of the Rogues. But earlier in the series, from the Rogues' perspective, it was this big, tense, suspenseful, scary thing. I think that'd be pretty funny. Like it'd almost be like in regards to the rogues, it'd almost be like the Suicide Squad, waiting for certain members to be killed, but instead it's just waiting for certain rogues to get caught by the Flash. Like I think it'd be really, really good. Now in regards to the heist side of things, I don't know if it'd just be as simple like, oh, we're getting this diamond because it's worth a lot of money. You'd think they'd be working for a bigger villain. Also, maybe someone that'd be considered a rogue from the Flash comics. So someone like a Gorilla Grodd, I think using him as the villain would be pretty cool. Also, because he is CGI, you wouldn't be able to use him throughout the entire thing. So you definitely wouldn't put Gorilla Grodd as a main member of this rogues team, but you could have him as someone that the rogues are working for. I think that would 100% work. And of course you could also do Reverse Flash, though I think you wouldn't do Reverse Flash, I don't think, in something that doesn't really have the Flash in it much. I think you'd probably save Reverse Flash for a movie or like another series that allows him to be interacting with the Flash more. I think Gorilla Grodd maybe lines up better, or you could even do someone like a blacksmith or something like that. That could probably work. I just don't think Reverse Flash would work. But I think Gorilla Grodd would be a cool one to use because, as I said, you wouldn't want to use too much CGI. But in like the one episode where it's revealed that Gorilla Grodd is the one behind, the organizing this heist and bringing the team together, you can have that CGI gorilla there quickly for one episode. Now, in regards to who I think should be on the team, who should be on the Rogues? Now, as I said, like you could start the series off with like 6, 7, 8 members, but I think in regards to the majority of the series, it should be limited to about 5, I would say. I think that seems like a solid number. And I wanted to keep the characters a bit different from one another, but also could work together. Like in the comics, it feels like they'd be able to work together somewhat properly, so it translates to the show like fairly well also. And the 5 members I've selected are Captain Cold, Heatwave. I mean, you gotta have both of them together. I put the Top in here because one, cool powers, and also the Top is pretty smart. So I think the Top, while also having the cool powers, can also like strategize quite a bit. I got to be biased as an Australian. You got to have Captain Boomerang in there. I'd love to see Jai Courtney just come back because I think he was really, really good as Captain Boomerang. So that's my only fan cast in this situation. Even though I sort of love the weird fan cast of Slim Shady, Eminem as Captain Cold for some reason. But anyway, he's the only fan cast I have, like, because he already was the character. So Jai Courtney back as Captain Boomerang. And then to avoid Sausage Fest, Golden Glider, but also that's Lisa Snart, that's Captain Cold's sister. So that's an easy person to involve there as well. You can even start it with like Captain Cold, Heatwave, and maybe Golden Glider are the first ones there, and then all these other people come in. Yeah, because it depends whether like the person organizing the mission recruits everyone, or it's up to like one person, like a Captain Cold or something, to do the recruiting of the other rogues. Like, that's for us to wait and see. But also, with all these rogues there, that means we're in a central city that's pretty developed, or maybe a Keystone City, whichever way they want to go. But either a central or Keystone City that's fairly developed, that these characters already exist. So that means the Flash has, probably been around for a bit. Now, if we do go down a route where people get taken down or, arrested by the Flash and taken to Iron Heights, there would be 3 additions that get dealt with really early into the story. And I have a specific reason as to why I chose these 3. So I chose Mirror Master, Weather Wizard, might I say, and Magenta. Now, the reason I included these 3 is that because I think it'd be pretty funny if they made these 3 specific rogues of Mirror Master, Weather Wizard, and Magenta extremely key and important parts of their heist plan, like Mirror Master using mirrors to get in, Weather Wizard controlling stuff, or lightning, making lightning hit something so the power goes out, whatever it is, making them very important parts of their plan, but then they get taken out first by the Flash. And not intentionally, it's just they're in bad places where the Flash is able to get to them. So it makes the series a bit more chaotic, and the rogues that are left, in Captain Cold, Heatwave, Top, Captain Boomerang, Golden Glider, have to change their plans and do it quite rapidly. Now, we don't know if they'd go down a route where the Flash would know what they're doing, but just they're so paranoid about the Flash is hunting them down. But as I said, in the Flash's eyes, he's just randomly stopping some villains. He has no idea they're really connected with each other because they're a bit separated. But by doing this, we hit a couple of different generations in regards to rogues and everything, which would make people pretty happy. And also, I just think these characters, those main 5 I mentioned of Captain Cold, Heatwave, Top, Boomerang, and Golden Glider, I think that works for the majority of the series and their banter back and forth. I mean, you could probably put in Mirror Master and even a Weather Wizard and stuff in there maybe, but I think those 5 are really good because only one of them has really, really ridiculous powers. Now, of course, it'll be very interesting to see who they gave this project to write and be the showrunner of, because I mean, it has to be like have like a like that heist feel where it's organized pretty correctly, but I think also have that banter and humor between all the rogues as well, but even be able to do like a minor horror element as well if they went potentially down a route like this. So it'd be very interesting to see who they have. Like James Gunn, like it's hard to tell whether, like I've never really picked up too much through any of the social media stuff whether James Gunn necessarily likes the Flash. Like you can tell he likes Superman, you can tell he likes Batman, but I've never really got too much of a feeling whether he likes the Flash as a character. At least I've never seen anything on social media. So I doubt this would be one that he'd be too heavy on, at least from what I can tell in regards to what he likes. So I'd be very intrigued to see who he would get to run this, because I think you also have to nail that rogues. You just can't make them like mindless, like silly people. Like they have to have those different personalities that also work together in that group. So I'd be very intrigued to see who would do, but the sound of this sounds really cool. And I think it also allows to build out that Central City world and like the villain underground of it without forcing another Flash film out there, because they probably want to give a bit of a breather between the Flash movie we just got and whatever they have going forward, 5, 8, 10 years from now, whatever it is. So I think this is actually a good stepping stone. The only other thing you could have done is maybe do a Kid Flash thing, or like a Titans thing that has Wally West's Kid Flash in there. But I think this is probably a good way to do it. And also, it doesn't really mess up any canon. You don't have to develop the Flash here, because you probably wouldn't even see him. You just see like a red streak or some yellow lightning or something go past. So there wouldn't even be that much Flash in there. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts on this potential Rogue series? Is it something you'd like to see? Do you have any thoughts about the storyline, where you'd like to see it go? Do you have any other Rogue characters you'd like to see put into the show as a main, character? Let me know in the comment section down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.